Navigate to the main menu and click on Charges. Click Enter Charges and the charge entry screen will open up. One of the unique features of the system's charge entry screen is its ability to provide three-dimensional views. I can see all appointments for a given date, and I can use these arrows to navigate through them, or use this calendar to pick a particular date of service and see what number of patients were seen on this date and the statuses of these patients. For example, the first 3 patients here don't have any charges, but the patients were seen. If you want to edit any patient information, you can go ahead and click on this edit button, and you can add or update any information for that patient. Look at patient number 5, Daniel Christensen. I can see the discharge has already been entered and has already been posted to the primary insurance. And here, the primary insurance is Operating Engineers. Whereas, patient number 4, Jerry Jefferson, is in the status of New. When I click on this, this is a charge that has been entered from the amount and has been pushed into the billing side. And the charges can flow from the system's billing suite or from any externally integrated system. This screen lets us know that the patient has been seen and has a charge waiting in the New status. It will show us the diagnosis code, CPT codes, and will also show us patient alerts. In this case, the patient's benefit maximum has been reached. If I click on this, I can see what patient benefit has been reached and when. I can take action on this, or I can just close it. Up at the top, we can see this green circle indicating that the charge was created from the EMR and the encountered note was completed successfully. Clicking on Narration will open up the actual encounter note that was created by the doctor or physician on the clinical side. Looking at this, we can see the charge code and the ICD codes that were populated from the clinical side. Coming back to the charge entry screen, we can see that this ICD code here is in red and therefore invalid. We can click here to select the correct code, and the system will let us know by turning green and showing that this is now a valid code. Down here, we have a procedure code 99214, and as a biller, I can modify these, adding any needed changes. If you want to add an extra line, you can do so by clicking this plus sign here. In addition, the system has the ability to override certain charges. For example, in some specialties, you'll have 5 lines of charges, but you don't want to send them all to the insurance company. They're just for internal purposes. You can do an override on this and say that it's an admin code. In another case, I can have a line that has not been paid by the patient, so I can force this bill to PT or bill to patient. I can also bill to the guarantor, which is bill to GR. The lines can also be set to hold. Here we can add any additional information on this chart, such as the referring provider. I can click here and say same as rendering provider, and I can see the information automatically populates. If, however, it's an outside referral, I can select that here and fill in the field. I can select authorization. If there's an existing authorization, I can select it from the list, or click the plus sign and add a brand new authorization for this charge. Additional information on condition, lab, and others can all be entered from here. Once everything is set up and all the information has been filled in, you can come down and change the status to bill to PR or bill to primary. At this point, I can force a charge to be on HCFA or CMS 1500 forms with these bubbles down here. By default, the system will generate an electronic or paper claim depending on the payer setup of that claim. If instead you'd like to put the charge on hold, you would select Hold from this drop down here, and then you'd go to Notes. There's a report that the system provides called Super Bill Tally, which can be used to see a list of charges that are on hold and the comments associated with those charges to find out why they are on hold. When you select and save as built to primary, the charge will change to green, back over here on the left. When you do it as hold, the charge will change to orange. Each of the super bills also gets assigned a unique number. For tracking purposes, the system also has the ability to enter batch numbers on the charges. So if you want to set up certain claims in a batch, you can do so here. This has been a quick overview on how to enter charges.